Hardtalk.
Thank you for hosting me, Stephen.
It's a pleasure to host you, not least because you are now a free man. This summer you spent more than 3 months in prison, but you were released. You are out. Is it now time, would you acknowledge, to build fences with your political enemies, in particular the President Lungu of Zambia?
First, I'm glad to be out. Nobody really should be in prison, especially when you're not in prison for committing a crime. So it's nice to be out of prison, and I'm grateful to all of those who did something.
Time for an olive branch?
I think it's time to fix the broken pieces, democratic pieces in our country. That's how I would define it. Very, very essential.
Let's talk about the incident that got you into prison. Many people around the world will find it quite bizarre. You were in the west of your country on the road with your team, a sort of convoy,
yes,
when the presidential convoy, motorcade, came through on the same road, and you and your team refused to pull over and get out of the way, which of course is expected when a president passes through. Why?
Well, factually, that's not what it was, Stephen. His motorcade was coming behind us. We were ahead of him. He overtook not just my 4 or 5 vehicles, but 100 other vehicles in a similar manner.
It's a bit of a sort of he said, she said story, in that there are 2 versions of this, yours and the president's. But let us stick with what the police chief of your country said. He said, Mr. Kanganja, he said, it has been established that the opposition leader disobeyed police orders and thereby put the life of the head of state in danger.
Absolutely not true. 1. 2, if that was the case, how is it that other 100+ motor, if you like, road users were not arrested for treason? Why me?
Why?
Because exactly the same conditions obtained when his motorcade overtook several hundreds of other vehicles. Why did it become treason on me?
A couple of days later, there is a raid on your home. And you are grabbed. Your family, it seems, were deeply upset by what they saw. You were hauled off to prison. And I think for a few days you were held in solitary confinement.
Sure, 8 days.
Yes. Now, this is not pleasant. Nobody could say this was a pleasant experience. But the bottom line is you were treated with respect. You were ultimately freed after, just over 3 months in captivity. And that charge of treason, which initially was put against you, was dropped. So I'm just wondering why you have made such a fuss about what happened to you.
First, Stephen, I should have never been arrested. I and 5 others should have never been arrested. First, because we did not commit any treason.
Well, we've sort of gone into that. So let's now discuss what this overall incident tells us about Zambia today. Because, as I say, in some countries I can think of, you might still be languishing in prison. But the bottom line is, after a degree of intervention from the outside, including from the Secretary-General of the Commonwealth, Baroness Scotland, and a degree of compromise, let's put it that way, you emerged from prison, and now you're a free man and you've just travelled to London conducting your political work. So what is the message of all of this, do you think?
I think the message is that we need to clean up our democratic credentials. The situation in Zambia should never allow a citizen to be brutally arrested and detained 8 days in solitary confinement, 120 days in total, in prison under degrading and inhuman conditions, not well treated, as we may put it, and for
to be specific, what are you accusing the prison authorities of doing to you?
First, the manner in which I was arrested was unacceptable, because in the first place, I have been arrested by the PF government since 2011 by over 10 times, and any and all of these 10 times, all I received, Stephen, was a police call out. And I presented myself to the police, and they executed or effected an arrest. They should have done the same here. So that should not be allowed to happen to anyone, including to those that treated us in that manner.
And